Hi, I'm Ludo Kokkelkorn. I work for PUM Netherlands Senior Experts in the sector of educational institutes, and I want to tell you something about how I design a training. We are doing this in three parts, explaining something about the business issues of designing a training, the educational aspects of curriculum development, and to finalize with the self-assessment. And we are doing this because we get quite often frequently asked questions about designing trainings. And we do this for PUM clients and experts. And this is done and work of the team curriculum development. And the nice thing of having videos is that we have now 24/7 access to this training material. And I will explain this in approximately 50 minutes. And afterwards, it might be that you want to have a remote coaching session and you can call for us. We use, of course, experience, literature, Wikipedia, PowerPoint, and YouTube, but it's done by learning, building, and measuring. Here you can see some members of the team of curriculum development. Annemarie Buschers is the sector coordinator of educational institutes. Damien Bruinsma is the project leader of our project Curriculum Development. Michiel Hupkes is an expert in educational institutes, and Tineke van Manen as well. You can find information about me with using the name of Ludo Kokkelkorn, and I'm an expert in business incubation. Some challenges of the entrepreneurs are having little income or capital, or too much expenses, less savings, sometimes even forgetting taxes. But investments in time and money have little outcome. And we want to improve that, among others, with this training video. Another important aspect is the time horizon of entrepreneurs, because when you look at multinationals, I might go for looking to the future within 3 years. The small and medium entrepreneurs are looking 3 months in front of them, and the entrepreneurs maybe only 3 weeks. And having done a university and studying 5 years, then you can imagine there is a gap between developing a educational program for university or developing a training for an entrepreneur to solve a real problem. Here you can see two ways of designing training. The first one is more the traditional one. It's designing that someone, the professor, is telling you what you need to know. He's checking it if you memorize it very well, and only after the training they illustrate how you can use it for a problem. But in this training we try to focus more on problem-based learning. Can we solve a problem via a training? And then we need short-term, open, dynamic, and remote training systems. There are some reasons for success, and of course you need an innovative idea, you need the right skills. It's good to have a personal remote network when you design trainings, to improve trainings. But of course, in the end, it's hard work. Training is top sport, and that is also the way I consider it, that you have to challenge yourself and your team members to go for the top result. And constantly you are selling also your service. Of course, things like a business model might help. My idea about how to start a business training is start lean. And lean has to do with three things: learning, building, and measuring. And of course, you can learn from farms or shops or companies and talk about the business and training issues and the needs those entrepreneurs have. Build a training for such a farmer, shopkeeper, business family, and then measure the results in improvements and also in cash. Is it a useful training? And of course, you can accelerate with a real business model canvas and all the tools which are involved in that. Here I can show you 9 aspects of what are the important things about learning for employment and entrepreneurship. Of course, you need to have a look at the labor market and job profiles. Train only things you need for that job or the company, and choose an active learning methodology. Train skills. Train them on personal, technical, and financial things. And organize also work experience near the campus and back home. And go for work placements and cooperation. Find and train good trainers, coaches, and assessors. Organize quality assurance and innovation management, and contact external stakeholders in the market. If you have problems with these, of course, you might call for PAM. Most of you, as being an entrepreneur, are familiar with the business model canvas, and this is a picture of that, and we will focus on the value proposition because here is the most important aspect in curriculum development, because you have to add something to your own key activities and key resources, which is helpful for the customers or students in that training. So checking all these kind of things are important for designing a good business training. And in the end, we have to measure our results. And of course, for entrepreneurs, the cash book is important. Income, expenses, savings, and taxes should be measured. But another important aspect is the marketing aspect. And I show you only here the 7 P's, or the product, price, place, and promotion aspects of your training. And you have to find figures about the history of those things, the forecast, and the results in that particular year. And of course, planning, doing, checking, act things is important to improve the measurement of these results. So designing a dashboard is an important aspect in also designing a business training. Here is one example of design of a training, and it's a Learn for You program designed by Educans. It's a Dutch NGO, and they have 7 steps to approach this development of a curriculum, going from defining an analysis of the labor market, developing job profiles, develop a curriculum, develop trainings, teach the trainers, keep track of the success, and innovate and reach out. Now we are at the end of part 1 and step over to the second part, educational aspects of curriculum development. Now I want to say a few words about the design of competence-based education. A competence is the knowledge, the skills, and the attitude of the student or the entrepreneur, and that is the focus of competence-based education. And we do this because we want to create a critical thinking person who is able to solve problems now and in the future. And of course, we need to consider things like the job level in combination with classification of vocational education. We want to look after the different responsibilities of employees, and the local authorities, the Chamber of Commerce, or the International Labour Organization may be of help. We look after a kind of job analysis and an analysis of tasks, and we do that in close cooperation with external partners. But in the end, it contains core tasks, competences necessary to perform and improve those core tasks, and more general, the 21st century skills. There are many of those skills, but one is critical thinking and problem solving. In this short video, we are not able to show everything, but to give an example of a core task, this might be when we look for a farmer, perhaps we explain that there are perhaps 5 or 6 core tasks per job, and for a farmer it might be the animal care day by day as a basis, managing the circle of life, coordinating all those kind of activities, and you can imagine that from step 1 to further on it becomes more and more complex, and in the end being an entrepreneur, and how do we train that? Of course, it's good that when you design a training and you are making that, you make examples and use video and use also external experts, and the farmer is also one of those experienced experts which you need in your training, if you of course train for farmers. Try to formulate as realistic as possible so that students might recognize also those kind of things. And the core tasks are the basis for the design of your further curriculum. It's very important when you design a training that you create variation in your educational methods. And of course, we know the more classical classrooms with theory and sometimes practical assignment included. But there are many more educational methods, like practical classes, training visits, and the integrated group project is one of my favorites, because here you can work on a problem of an external organization in combination with the students and the teacher to solve that problem. Teaching factory is looks like a little bit like that. Of course, you know, an internship and applied research. When we are designing a training, then of course we need also assignments and assessments. First of all, the assignments. It's good that you choose core tasks and also competences. And you can read on this transparency all the important steps, but the fourth one is very important. You have to describe the aim of the assignment, and then you show which knowledge, which skills, and which attitude a student should have to fulfill these core tasks. And also the assignment should be challenging the student for critical thinking and really solving the problem. Assessments are also in many varieties, and of course we know the large-scale questionnaire, but thinking about real-life situations where a young entrepreneur has to talk and discuss with stakeholders, an expert interview might be a worthwhile assessment. and also observation about how he or she is working in that project group. So these kind of assessments are interesting to look after. Let me say a few words about assessment. You need to choose a way of assessment which looks like real-life situation. And we know all kind of summative assessments for a mark from our schools, but you might have a look as well to formative evaluation, which helps the student to learn and to practice. And of course, you have to train your teachers in those two kind of ways of assessment, and might be you mix also internal and external assessors to get that real life situation. And it might help to organize intervision meetings between those assessors and peer reviews. And intervision is organized a conversation between 6 young professionals, and the participants ask questions that help to investigate and solve the case. Now we are coming to an end of that designing process of the trainer, and the spider web could be helpful of integration and control and self-assessment. Of course, when you design a training, then you need a mission, vision, and strategy in your organization. But it will follow that you need learning goals, learning content, learning activities, teacher roles, resources and materials, grouping, learning environment. Time is an important aspect, and the assessment in the end. But starting with the learning goals. And this spider web could be considered and looked after on a macro level, a meso level, and a micro level. But here is more or less a tool for self-assessment. Now we come to the end of this design of a training program, and it ends with a kind of self-assessment. Measure your own results. And here you see all the aspects of the spider web, and here you see in a Likert scale, 1 is not available up to 7 excellent, and give your own marks for all those aspects, and then it will come to a result and a self-assessment. How are you operating this training process? And if you need some help, call us. This is it. I do hope that this video gives you an answer on the question, how do I design a training? And instead of reading books, thank you for watching, and please contact us if you need remote coaching support. Thank you very much.